Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for getting latest updated video. Hello friends, my name is Bhavesh Parmar and in today's session we are going to discuss on emerging technologies. So what do you mean by guys emerging technologies? These are the future technologies. So that will change our life, our living standardization, our lifestyle. So from HSC board examination point of view, this topic is very interesting and very important. And if we see the weightage, its weightage is approximately 4 to 6 marks. Means they may be asked the question either on MCQ basis or they may be asked on some theory question, means that is write short notes on following things. So basically guys, in this lesson we have to study Internet of Things, then cloud computing and 5Gs, and how these technologies change our life, that we will going to discuss. Okay, so in this lesson we are going to see Internet of Things, that is different emerging technology. So in that first one we are going to focus on Internet of Things. In short it is called IoT. So in that case, what do you mean by IoT? Then what are its advantages, disadvantages, and what is its role on our human being, means our day to day lifestyle. Thereafter we are going to see the application of IoT, means nowadays where, at which places IoT makes important role, where we are going to use these techniques, and how it is beneficial for human being. Thereafter we are going to focus on cloud computing. Cloud computing means what? How it is provides the client server infrastructure, how it is beneficial, how it is portable. Then we are going to see the various models of cloud computing, then types of cloud computing, how it is beneficial and useful. Thereafter we are going to focus on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence means what guys? Nowadays maximum research is doing only on AI basis. AI means what? Artificial intelligence. In artificial intelligence area, nowadays we do so many things and so many researches, and the best example is robots. Means nowadays what we are trying to provide, we are just providing the intelligence. Artificial intelligence means how the machine could think, and it is applicable and helpful for human being, that we are going to tested in AI techniques. Then we are going to discuss various advantages of artificial intelligence, disadvantages of artificial intelligence, and then the best mobile cellular techniques, that is 5G techniques, fifth generation cellular network technology, and how it will change our life, or how it provides more comfort our life. And then we are also going to discuss online gaming using 5G, automated vehicles, virtual classrooms, and many more things. So these all these things we are going to discuss in this lesson. So guys, what we are trying to do, we are dividing this lesson in two separate lecture. Means in today's session we are going to discuss what do you mean by IoT, its basics, advantages, disadvantages, and various application. And thereafter we are going to switch on to cloud computing, means how it is beneficial, what are the models and its type. And then in next session, in second lesson, we are going to focus on artificial intelligence, its various advantages, disadvantages, and we are going to focus on 5G technologies, means how it is helpful, implemented. Okay guys, so without wasting our time, let we start our today's session. So guys, first of all we focused on IoT, that is Internet of Things. So guys, what do you mean by Internet of Things? So generally what we are doing nowadays, we use a smart, powerful electronic gadgets, and these gadgets help to change our life, that is it provides more comfort. So which these are, so especially we used home appliances, electronic gadgets, mobile phones, sensors, actuators, and various connectivity devices. So let me see one by one. So the Internet of Things is the network of physical devices, that is vehicles, home appliances, and other items embedded with electronics. Means especially we need to focus on electronic device, and by using the software connectivity we are providing the software code, and we just try to operate according to our comfort. So that will provided with the help of internet of things, and it enables these things of connect, collect, and exchange the data, and it also creates the opportunities for more direct integration of physical world into computer based system. Now IoT involves extending internet connectivity beyond standard devices. That is, we can take the help of desktop computers, laptops, smartphones, and tablets. Now we see that we have a powerful gadgets that we called mobile phone, and generally we used 4G technology mobile phone, and in after some days 5G technology smartphones are also available in market with powerful microprocessor capacity, heavy storage, high quality of RAM, HD display, and we see that many more recording comfortable options. That is, we used camera for taking the pictures and making videos. Then, guys, these devices can communicate to interact over the internet, and they can be remotely monitor and control. Means what happen, guys, whatever the things that we have, that can be, we can encouraged, or that we can published through internet devices. And means in generally we say that nowadays due to this lockdown period and this covid pandemic, we should have to change our teaching methodology. Means instead of teaching in physical lecture, so we have to create the digital classrooms, and with that various interface we just interact with the students. So these are the changing technology, and in that changing platform internet of things plays very important role. Now guys, we just focused on its various advantages. So let me discuss some of the advantages of IoT techniques, that is internet of things. So in that, first main advantage is efficient resource utilization. So if we know the functionality and the way that how to each device works, we definitely increase the efficient resource utilization as well as monitor natural resources. Means generally what happen, guys, suppose if I'll provide you a smartphone with 4G technologies that consist of Android operating system 10 is installed. It consists of 8 GB RAM, 128 or 256 GB internal storage capacity, and there are various many more application pre-installed in that mobile phone. But unfortunately, suppose if we are not able to use this application, then that device is totally worthless. Means we can't express or enhance the capacity of that device. So for that purpose, what to do, we just have to know, we just have to familiar about that techniques, so that will be definitely beneficial. And even though if we just know that when we try to purchase any kind of electronic equipments or any kind of electronic gadgets, then with that device we are getting a special booklet, or we can say that the note the guidelines that will definitely helps to how to use that device. So in that booklet they try to provide you the various diagrams, labelings, and even though they also provide some paths. But nowadays what happen, various videos are available. Means we have see that on YouTube channels, unboxing that electronic equipments and how to use it. So that will increase the efficiency and utilization of that particular resources. Then now guys, we are going to focus on our next advantage, that is minimum human efforts. So internet of things provides the major advantage, that is it try to reduces minimum efforts of human being, and it try to provides more comfort, as the devices of internet of things interacts and communicate with each other and do lots of tasks for us. So it will provide more comfort for human being. Means there is no need to worry about it. Maximum tasks and the things are performed by gadgets only. Is that clear? So we focused on our next advantage, that is time saving. So it helps to provide and saves the human time. It it is reduces the human efforts, then it's definitely saves our time. Time is the primary factor in automation, which can save through internet of things platform. Means guys, suppose if we are using electronic gadget, so that gadgets helps you to perform calculations, searching, analysis, and we just have to take the decision based on that data. So let me take some examples, so that's why it will more easy to clear how it saves the time. So generally, suppose if I want the details of sales, so suppose if I have a well furnished company related with production of ice cream, and if I want the data of 12th month sales, so with the help of computer and with the help of my database, so it will try to provide you the all the customized information. Means the total number of sales performed in every month. So if I have 12 months data, so that can I easily predict in which month more demand is there. So according to that I need to make some planning. Then suppose festival seasons are come, so various offers are given to the customer, so that also helps to increase the number of sales, as well as it also help for making a good profit. Okay guys, so these there are various techniques. So this is one of the simple example that we have discussed. It saves our time for unnecessary analysis of data. It will provide you data mining, and it gives you the exact data that user wants. So now guys, we are focused on our next advantage of IoT, and it is enhance data collection. Internet of things devices can collect the data from environment like weather, sound, pollution, etc. This data then can be used to take the decision. Now generally what happens, suppose if we say IMD, weather forecasting departments, and if we try to collect the data from it, the rainfall proportion of last 20 years, so they have that kind of data they will try to provide you, and according to that we can analyze what is the rainy situation for coming years. So according to that we need to make more planning. So these are the making some educated guess. So if we see the data and according to the analysis, so there are maybe 90 to 95% accuracy. So it is only and only possible with the help of IoT. And even though we just also try to collect the different level of pollution, suppose if we try to put the devices on heavy traffic roads, so that it's try to collect the data, and we just check the pollution level of air. So according to that we need to take some steps, so it helps to reduce the difficulties from the environment, and we just try to save the environment and also making more comfort for human body. So it will definitely a beneficial thing. Now we're going to move our last important advantage of IoT, that is improve security. So it is one of the major important thing related with IoT, that is security. Means when we try to use any equipments, any smart electronic gadget, so the first major concern is security. So nowadays what happen, we use smartphones, so we have fingerprints sensor is there, so we just use biometric fingerprints to unlock our smart devices, or we used complicated patterns, or face unlock provision is also there. So these are the very more things that helps and that will keep your device more and more secured. So IoT's based security system can make home or more office environment secure by providing complex password techniques or biometric entry system. So that will secure your devices and the places that you want to secure. Okay, so these are the various things that we have discussed. Means what do you mean by IoT and how it change our lives? It is a game changer, and we have discussed so many advantages, that is efficient resource utilization, minimize human efforts, time saving, enhanced data collection, and the most important thing is improve security features. So if this kind of question ask in examination, you just need to explain in 1 or 2 points only. Now guys, we have discussed various advantages. Now we focused on disadvantages. There are some drawbacks are also related with these things. So now we are going to focus on drawbacks or disadvantages of IoT. The major concern is privacy. Means every user try to protect its data and it avoid the misused by unauthorized user, or nowadays we call hackers. Because what happen, they just try to copy your data without any permission, and they just encrypt that data, that is in convert that data into coding form. And from our point of view, if our data is very important, so what they are trying to do, they are asking money for it. And if we pay the money, then and only then they will helps you to retrieve that data. Means they literally blackmail the person. Suppose let me take the example of bank. Suppose if I am taking the example of bank ICICI bank. Suppose if I have uh, a data of a whole city, means details about customers, their saving account details, loan details, fixed deposit details, credit card details, on kinds of details that I have stored on my server computer. And unfortunately that data is hacked by some person, and it tried to convert that data into encrypted form. Means what happen guys, if we try to open that data, we are unable to open. Means we won't get the access to retrieve that information. So in that case what happen, there might be a huge impact on your banking business sector. So in that case what you have to do, you have to pay the amount, or you just try to decode that program. So that's why you can recover your data. So that's why the one of the most important thing is what, privacy. Even without active participation on the user, IoT system provides substantial personal data to maximum detail. So these are the things. So that's why I'm, without this explanation or without example, it is quite difficult to understand. So that's why I'm giving some example. So that's why these concepts are more important. So in privacy, what you have to just focus, if we concern the security concern, privacy is the major issue related with IoT. Means there might be a threat. Okay, so there are one more drawback of this IoT things is complexity. The designing, developing, maintaining, and enabling the large technology to IoT system is quite complicated. Means what, when we try to implement in our day-to-day life, when we embedded with our hardware equipments with software equipments, so in that case what happen guys, most of the things it is difficult to implement, because testing and equipments resources, they are quite, means it is quite a lengthy process, and it is also expensive process. Means when we try to provide such type of comforts, so there might be a chance of failure of that particular device. So it is difficult for implementation purpose. So these are the two major disadvantages related with IoT. Otherwise it is one of the best enhanced technique that will change our life. So which are these two disadvantages that we have discussed now? Privacy and complexity. So there might be a chance of security concern, and it is difficult to implement. Now guys, we are going to focus on various applications, means actual in day to day life, where we are going to use these techniques that we are going to be discussed now. So there are various applications of IoT. So let me discuss one by one. So in that first one is smart lighting. So generally what happen guys, So by using smart gadgets, we can control the lighting system according to our requirement. So it is controlled by our smartwatch also, and we also get the control with the help of our smartphones. Means by use when we try to enter in our home, and suppose if there is a dark, so according to the situation we can change the lightning structure of our requirement. If there is a more sunny day, so we just change the brightness or the light structure. Got it, guys? Thereafter we are just have the next important application is smart thermostats. So it allows user to schedule, monitor, remote control home temperature. So nowadays we use ACs, air conditioners. So according to the climates and the structure, we can control the temperature of that particular room or that premises. Got it, guys? Thereafter we just focused on next important advantage, that is smart locks and garage door openers. So we know that now previously we just use a powerful lock, and these powerful lock have some of the locks may consist of some numbers. Means if we match the numbers pairs, then and only then that door will open. But by using smart locks, means what, we just have to provide some password, and if that password is correct, then and only then you will get the legal access. So it is password based or facial recognition based door and locks. That is our mobile phone. Suppose if we forget our mobile phone somewhere else place, and unfortunately suppose that device is in some different person, and if we try to open that phone, so it is difficult to open that phone for that person. Why? Because we just try to protect our phone by our finger locks, face recognition, and even though we also secured with some pattern, complicated patterns. So it will provides you the high security from misuse of our equipment. Is that clear? So thereafter next we focused smart security cameras. So we know the security systems, especially we used in jewelry shops, diamond shops, banks, offices, and then defense systems. So at that places security cameras plays very important role. And if unauthorized person try to interact or they try to disturb that system, so raise alarm case of security threats. So it will provides you, and it will keep secured your private information from misused by others. Thereafter we widely used IoT in smart traffic signals. So with the help of computer system and by smart softwares, we can just control the traffic signals which has situated at different places in the city, and we just need to monitor at our single place. Means nowadays what happen in metro cities, they are trying to provide the security cameras at security camera on a different traffic signal poles. Means some person, some vehicles, they just try to break the rules. So with the automated system, software systems, we just send them the fine challan to their mobile phones and hard copy to their postal address. So it is possible only and only with the help of IoT. So it is try to maintain and comfortness. So signals that can adjust their timing to accommodate commutes and holiday traffic and keeps car moving. Means according to the requirement we just change the time of our traffic controlling. Means suppose if there is a suppose rushy or busy area is there, so in that case we just try to allow the person, means the green signal we just have to provide lot of time as compared to red signal. But if there is a less number of traffic is there, we just change the situation accordingly. Means suppose there are holidays are there, so in that case we know that there are huge heavy rush on a road, so in that case they just change their strategy. So these are the various techniques related with IoT means that these are the various applications. So in exam, such types of question asked, so you can write down any 2 to 3 applications related with IoT. Now guys, we are just moving the next concept, that is cloud computing. Nowadays it is a very popular technique, cloud computing. So cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient on demand network access to a shared pool of computing resources like networks, server, storage, applications, and services released with service provide interaction. Means in general, we just have to focus. What do you mean by cloud computing? It try to provides you the interface between client computer and server computer. We just exchange of information, we can exchange the data, softwares, application through internet. Okay, so let me see the diagram related with cloud computing so it can easily understand. You see the diagram how these client computers are interacted with server computer with with the help of internet, that is cloud computing storage. So that will provides you virtual interface so that can interact our server computer data with client computer. But you have to keep one thing in your mind: when you have a cloud access, it is given only and only by authentication. Means if you have the right user ID and password, then and only then it will try to provide you the legal access. And we just also control the access with the help of cloud computing. Now guys, we need to see how many types of cloud computing models exist and how it works, that we going to focus now. So our next topic is models of cloud computing. So there are actually three different models of cloud computing based according to its working. So in short, we just keep the simple word IPS. IPS means what? Infrastructure, platform, software. Based on these three techniques, the models are divided. And or meanwhile, you can say that the services depends on this IPS. That is infrastructure as a service. You may also say that IaaS, platform as a service, that is PaaS, and finally software as a service, that is SaaS. So if we see these techniques, these are very vast and very so descriptive and complicated, but according to our syllabus point of view, just take the introductory part, means how it bifurcates its working according to model based. So let me focus on our first concept, that is infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure as a service that provides the user access to storage, networking, servers, and other computing resources with the help of cloud. While the user still responsible for managing their applications, data, middleware, etc. So what do you mean by middleware? So means whenever suppose we try to interact with the computer, so in that case what happen? Our computer know only and only binary language, and we know only high level language. So how can we interact with the with the computer? So in that case, the middleware is an operating system, that is Windows, Linux, or you can say that iOS, Android. So these plays as interface, so that will make a gateway through which a person can interact with the computer system. So it is called what? Middleware system. Information as a service provides automated and scalable environment that provides a high degree of control and flexibility for the user. So means according to the requirement, it try to provides you the services according to the use. So it these services depends on based on the application used by the end user. Got it? Now, so then we focused on various key features related with IaaS. The first most of the important key feature is, instead of purchasing hardware outright, user pay for IaaS on demand. Means generally what happen, if we try to establish these many setups, so we require lot of cost, and it is also difficult to manage and maintain. So we just have to recruit one person for maintenance, and we just have to also pay high software charges, high hardware equipments. We just need to purchase it, we just have to install, and it is quite difficult for implementation purpose. But IaaS provides you the facility, just paying on demand. Means if you required, then and only then we can just purchase, or we can just use their service, and we have to pay accordingly. Is that clear? Then the second important key feature is, infrastructure is scalable depending on processing and storage needs. Then we see the third key feature, enterprises saves the cost of buying and maintaining their own hardware. So as I now discussed previously, so if we try to maintain traditionally the client server based architecture, so we required powerful hardware devices and powerful softwares also, we need to purchase it, and hardware engineers are essential for making these kinds of setup, so it is more complicated and more costly. So it reduces your cost approximately 80%. So you can use whenever it required, and you have to pay accordingly. Got it, guys? So it is more clear by taking some example, that is Amazon Web Services. In short, it is called AWS. Okay, then some different examples are there. Microsoft Azure virtual machines are there. Then Google Computer Engine, GCE. So these are the various most popular examples related with infrastructure as a service. Now guys, we are just focused on our next model of cloud computing, that is platform as a service, that is PaaS. A service provider offers access to cloud based environment in which user can develop, manage and deliver application. Means what? Suppose if I want to design one project based on Java techniques, so it will try to provide you that kind of access. Suppose if you try to develop an application which is based on .NET technology, PHP technology, so according to your requirement, it will provide you all kind of information interface. So that's why you can develop and design a powerful application software. In addition to storage and other computing resources, users are able to use suite a pre-built tools to develop, customize and test their own application. Means it also provides you the facility, means whatever the application softwares or apps we are going to design, whether it properly works or not. So that's why they will try to provide you black box, white box testing tools. So that's why user or developer can properly interact whether it's properly works or not. So now guys, we are just focusing on various key features related with platform as a service. The major key feature is platform with tools to test, develop and host application in the same environment. So as I told you earlier, means if a developer wants to develop its new application by using that particular platform, so it provides you a large set of tools, so it helps to develop a powerful application software. Then we focused on our second feature, it enables organization to focus on development without having a worry about underlying infrastructure. So whatever we are going to design, it is totally a platform independent. So that's why there is no worry, means whether I have designed any application software, whether it properly works properly or not on their on their software, or whether hardware equipments properly or not, so it is totally a worried-less application. Means it is platform independent, means there is no need to worry about hardware infrastructure. So we can execute our program, execute our application on any kind of hardware equipment. Means say for example, suppose if I am using mobile phone, on mobile phone, suppose with the help of Play Store, suppose if I am going to install one game PUBG, suppose, and that PUBG game if I want to play it on Windows based platform, so it will definitely not work. Why? Because they are trying to design based on Android operating system related features. So if we try to design PUBG with Windows based platform, so we have to make so many changes in that application software, so then and only then it will work and execute successfully on our computer. Okay, so thereafter we focused on our next key feature. It provides manage security, operating system, server software and backup. So most of the thing what happen when we just provide these kind of services to the end user, so the most of the important thing is what? Security system as well as backup facility. So why backup is essential? Means unfortunately suppose the virus problem occurs, then in that case our data should be secured and it should not be misused by other. So it provides you the backup security facility. So by using our ID and password, we can access that backup data according to our requirement. Then it also provide facilitate to collaborative works even if teams work remotely. Means suppose if we have, and just take the example, so generally what happened, lockdown is there. So if I am working on some particular project and that project requires suppose 50 software engineers, but unfortunately all these software engineers are not situated at same city, so they are situated at different places. So how can we design that software? So by using platform as a service, so we just providing the user ID and password. So we just try to collect or connect all the data and software engineers together to develop a smart application software. So these are the various key features related with platform as a service. Now we focused on our last important cloud model is software as a service. So in this model, a service provider delivers software and application through the internet. Users do not install application on their local devices. Instead, the application reside on a remote cloud network accessed through the web or an API. The API means what? Application program interface. So generally what happens, suppose if I want to use MS Office and if I want to design PPTs, making Excel sheets, documents. So for making all these applications, first of all, I have to install Microsoft MS Office in my computer. Means in that case, it is a software dependent. Means if I have these kind of softwares in my computer, then and only then I can use these features to make PPTs, Excel sheets and documentation. But software as an infrastructure service provides you to free access without installing any software. Means what? We can directly virtually access of these softwares and we can use various application programs. So now we just focused on key features related with software as a service. The first key feature is vendor provides user software and application via subscriptional model. So what it means actually? Means suppose if we use Hotstar, so if we try to access, or suppose Sony Live app, so generally what happen, we have just installed that app and on they just provide you some facility on trial basis, means 1 month subscription free. And if we want to continue that subscription, so in that case what happen, we have to pay, and according to our payment they will gives you certain limit, or they provides you certain time. So that's why we can use that particular application. Now the next important key feature is user do not have to manage, install or upgrade software. Software as a service provides manage this, means auto update facility is there. Means generally what happen in our mobile phone, we use so many applications, that is WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and many more applications are there. But what happen, time to time we need to upgrade these softwares. Why? For better performance, otherwise it will not work that applications properly. So platform as a service take care of, and it provides software as a service. So platform and software, these two models helps automatically upgradation. So that's why user need not upgrade time to time. It auto upgrade facility is there, so user can directly use it whenever they want. Now next key feature is data is secured in cloud. Equipment failure does not result in loss of data. So we can access the data through remote basis, means, and we can access it at any over world area, means you are anywhere in the world, you can log in by using your id and password, your security code, so you can access your data. And suppose unfortunately, if suppose if you try to access through your laptop and unfortunately it gets crash, so it doesn't mean that your data will also get crash. So it is fully secured. Okay, so with the other device, by using other device, you can enter your login id and password, you can access that data securely. Now thereafter, the use of resources can be scaled depending on service needs. So means performance, utilization, its benefits depend on the application or the services that you have been subscribed. Is that clear? Applications are accessible from almost only internet connected devices from virtually anywhere in the world. Means all these things are takes place only and only with the help of internet. Means if we don't have, so these things are worthless, we can't use, we cannot interact. So let me take the example Google's G Suite, then GitHub, SAP, Slack, Dropbox. These are the so powerful services, are widely used nowadays in a market. So if you want more detail regarding this, so you can search on our Google bar, so that will they will gives you the working of G Suite and GitHub and SAPs and related. So these are the very powerful softwares and applications. They provides you a large scale of interface according to your requirement. So now guys, we are focusing of our last topic of this today's session, that is types of cloud computing. So actually guys, there are three basic types of cloud computing. Development of cloud computing, that are public, private and hybrid cloud computing. So now guys, according to their behavior, they are classified into these three major types. So which are those? Public cloud computing, private cloud computing, and at the end hybrid cloud computing. So let me guys, without wasting of our time, we just see one by one. So we need to focus on our first one, public cloud computing. In public cloud, all services and supporting infrastructures are managed offsite over the internet and shared across multiple user. So it is multi-user multitasking. Public clouds are more efficient and inexpensive than private and hybrid cloud solution. So the best example is Google Cloud Platform, Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure. So these are the widely public cloud service providing facilitators. So we can access according to our requirement by paying a less quantity of amount, and it is more powerful and more helpful. So now we going to focus on our private cloud computing. So as the name suggests, private cloud provides IT services through the internet or a private network to selected users rather than general public. Means what? Suppose, say for example, if you are the employee belongs to a particular multinational software developer company, that is Infosys, and if you work on particular project, but in that project suppose five software different engineers are working on that project, but all these engineers situated at different countries. Means suppose you are one of the developer, or you may say that you are the team leader and you are situated in India. Your most four remaining software engineers are situated in suppose Canada, UK, Europe, and Africa country. So you can interact with each other through private cloud network. Means it is a restricted, means all you five have ID and password, so you can easily interact, and it is not allowed for public. Means we are not going to provide the access to other users. Only those users can access that data. They have legal ID as well as password. Okay, so now we focused on our last cloud computing methodology, that is hybrid cloud. And if we see the example of private cloud computing, we also take the example of Google Meet or Zoom app. So in that case, what happen? If we have ID and password, then and only then we can interact with the person, or we can join that particular meeting. So it is one of the biggest example of cloud computing. So generally what happens, all kinds of data and information stored through internet. Now we focused on hybrid cloud computing. In this hybrid cloud computing, environments combine both public and private cloud elements. The clouds in hybrid environment communicate over an encrypted connection and allow for the portability of data and applications. Hybrid cloud allows greater flexibility as compared to that of public and private cloud solution. Means what, guys? Suppose if we are working on some particular project, and if we have suppose 20 users, every user have its own ID and password. But if we know the administrator, means let me take the example of bank. So in bank, the branch manager is the key person. That person have access of all departments, that is saving account, loan department, credit card departments, what's going on. So this person have access, and so it can restrict the different other users. Means say for example, suppose if I'm working in loan department, so what happen in case of credit card department and debit card department, so that person have not any kind of legal access. So this accessing the data can be easily restricted. So it is the best example of hybrid cloud computing. Now we are going to focus on benefits of cloud computing. Means where we are using and how it is beneficial if we used on a large scale. The first benefit of cloud computing is cost saving. Cloud computing solutions are inexpensive than actual overall infrastructure setup for IT services. So as I told you in previous part of this lesson, means if we try to implement actually, so in that case we required a powerful hardware machines, we purchased costly softwares, and to maintain this we required a skilled professional so that can easily operate that. So if we avoid such things, we can hire cloud computing according to our requirement. Now the next most important benefit of this cloud computing is reliable. So cloud computing solutions are more reliable than in-house IT infrastructure. So why it is more reliable? Means what happens, suppose if I'm going to establish a very powerful server, but unfortunately if there is a mismatch in connectivity, connection problem is there, so in that case your whole system gets collapsed. But there are less chances in case of cloud computing. So we can instantly, we are just going to make a new setup of cloud computing, so within a few interval of time we can make a new connection. And the most of the last and the but not least benefit, that is mobility. So cloud computing solutions are more portable because user can access data anytime, anywhere as they required. So it is the one of the biggest important benefit of this cloud computing. Means there is no restriction of that particular place, so user can access throughout the world, anywhere from the world, by just providing legal ID and password. If we provide it properly, so we can access our required information. Got it, guys? So in today's session, what we have discussed on Internet of Things, how it is beneficial, various applications, advantages, then disadvantages. Then we focused on our cloud computing. Then we focused on various models, how these models are important, and how many types of cloud computings are there. And at the end, we have discussed benefits of cloud computing. So guys, in next session, we are just focused on artificial intelligence and 5G technology. So till then, stay safe. Have a nice day. Thank you.